got a 10.
That means, I believe, I recall your move, you get 3 flow. Okay.
Parkour ninja.
Yeah. So there's an obstacle in front of you. Yeah. What do you choose to do? You decide what's your first flow, how you use it, and tell me how. This is nice because this is all in your control. Whenever I say something is going to happen, you can just bounce back and be like, and this is how I avoid it, right? So the beep goes beep, 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 beep.
All right, so I just run through this room, sort of vault through this hole, and I am, well, I'm gonna avoid harm, whether that's just by barricading myself, behind a big concrete wall, or just like straight up just getting out into the parking lot.
Yeah, I think so. I think underneath the tarp we see a panel of a light, and it goes solid, and then there's like a very close-up panel of this little spark from the what is it called, the detonator, and then there's like, we get an outside view of the warehouse, and then just the big explosion. You manage to get out. You're just there's the tarp, and then there's like some boxes up against the wall. You just like hop, and you do the old parkour thing, like step, and you just kind of crouch and then leap, and you're just diving straight out of the hole as the explosion is going off. Monstrosity, what do you do? You got like I kind of, we broke away because you left the screen, but you brush your nose again as the beeping intensifies, and you see Vixen is leaping into action. What do you do?
I also try to get the hell out of there. So she's like going back the way we came, right?
No, she's going out the hole where the robots went out, or the drone.
Okay, then I do the same then.
Okay. And you're using your animal instincts. Okay.
I am. 6 and 5 plus the freak 3.
So tell us, how do you get out without being scathed?
I dived right through the window, and there's also a widow out there, and I save her.
So you dive out the window. We have this like panel of the warehouse, and the explosion superimposed on top of there, and then we see a silhouette of Vixen kind of doing like a combat roll to absorb the force of it, and then she's up and running, and you just sort of like, you leap, you kind of curl yourself up, and it's just a full-on animal leap, and you're through there. You do see there aren't many widows out at this time of night. What would be something that you could save? There is a night watchman. There's a little booth, and this explosion, you can feel like your animal senses tell you that this explosion is pursuing you as you are and you're kind of experiencing things in slow motion. And so you feel the heat and the force of the explosion as you're loping. I picture it, tell me if I'm wrong, I picture you're going on all fours. Like you've got this like, yeah. So you're on all fours, and you don't normally like to do it because it's like, you still like to walk around on 2 feet, but you're just like
a little pretentious.
Or down on all fours. And this night watchman is reading a paper, and he's like, there's a little question mark as he's turning his head. And describe how you save his life or her life. Is it a her?
It is a her. It is a her, and she's in her booth or something, right? At some kind of. Okay. I would like to grab her and like kind of shove her to the ground and like cover her with my body and like hopefully be behind some kind of brick wall or something.
So you kind of reach in and grab her. She's there, like first you have to like rip open the door. You like grab her forcefully, and she's like, ah, what? And she's like trying to fight you and like and fend you off. So I want you to roll plus savior just to see how this kind of ends up. You are going to save her life, but we're going to see what happens in the meantime. Yes, okay. You roll so that I will give you what you want.
Oh boy, I got a 1 and a 3, so 4, I guess. Is that in addition to anything, or?
Nope, that's all I needed to know. So you managed to grab her. She's fighting you off, and you roll out of the way. You roll behind the booth where she was living. The booth gets just totally blown off by the force of this explosion. The force of the explosion is so great that the rest of the building, except for like the back corner, just like, and you hear a creaking of metal as, and you have just a moment when like there's a beat where like you hear this creaking of the metal after the explosion, and you hear and this security guard looks up at you and says, "Who are you?" Right before you do your next action. These yellow eyes, this purple scaly skin, and did we say you had like a forked tongue kind of a thing?
Yeah,
I think. And like you kind of taste the air like that. And what do you do?
I don't like the sound of this creaking metal, so.
I mean, it's the sound of the building kind of falling and crumbling and breaking.
Okay.
Right? She is safe because of your earlier roll.
Okay.
Why'd you have to save the freaking widow, man?
And it's funny because I love the idea, and I think this is rolling really well into the character because he's saving her life. She has no idea. She just sees this freaky lizard man who is leaving the scene of an explosion.
And I say, you got to lay off the pills, sweetheart.
You live in a world where superheroes are a thing, and so are supervillains.
Yeah.
This place was recently the object of theft, and she was posted there. She probably doing her job, but whatever it was that you were pursuing must have evaded her detection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like she'd have some valuable information for us, but I'm not sure how to get it out of her, and 2, I'm not entirely sure we're out of the woods just because the building is done exploding.
I'm just gonna give you a little move here. The walkie-talkie at her hip cracked, and Agent Malone, please report, or not?
Agent.
Well, not agent, but what would you call a security guard?
It's like Miss.
Miss Malone. Ms. Malone, please report.
Everything's fine. fine here. Everything's normal. How are you?
But like she's fear her radio. So like, what do you do?
I take her walkie-talkie and I smash it.
Okay.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
That will fix it. I swear I'm not.
I don't know what you're rolling. You have to tell me what you're doing before you roll usually, but I'll accept it. But
I want to. I'm taking her walkie-talkie, and I am.
So smashed it.
Yeah.
And you're taking her smashed walkie-talkie?
Well, no. I'm taking it and I'm smashing it. So I do that.
Yeah, it's already done.
Okay, and
Tell her she got to lay off the pills, and things are not what they seem. You just rolled a 12, man. Like, you can get away with.
I'm not sure what you were trying to do when you rolled those dice. So
I smash the walkie-talkie and I want to grab her by the shoulders, stare her right in the eye, and say, "What the hell were they holding in there?"
Okay, so it sounds like you are trying to be the monster.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, roll plus freak.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, fun stuff. 1 and 3 plus a 3 of freak is 7.
Can't take the 12?
Well, no, we'll say that's the 12. Sorry about that. We'll take that's the 12. On a hit, they're thrown off and make themselves vulnerable to you, or they flee. It sounds like you want her to be vulnerable in the sense of she gives you some kind of information.
Yeah, I would like her to surrender some important information to me, whatever she knows about what she was in fact guarding.
Okay. It's just car parts. It's just, don't hurt me, please. And like she was angry before, but now she's fearful because you've frightened her.
Mm-hmm.
You know that like you get the sense because of the move and because of your animalistic sense of reading other people. You know that she's scared. You know that she's doing whatever she can to give you the information. You know she's telling the truth. Like it's just car parts. They're just car parts.
What she's saying then.
Yeah. Don't hurt me, please. She kind of cringes. We don't know why they stole them. It was some kind of robot lady in a big armor. We don't know why.
What robot lady?
I don't know.
Well, you better think quick.
The news said it was the Anarch, but I don't know. We were just told to watch out for robotics. Please stop.
Okay. I get up and I let her go.
Okay. She remains cowering on the ground until you take your next action. What do you do?
Can I jump in?
Yeah, let's follow Vixen because Vixen has been following. So let's go flip over to you, as soon as you get that little bit of information, we flip to another panel. Meanwhile, and Vixen, you still have 2 flow from your training, and you are trying to follow these robots. Is that correct?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, describe what you are trying to accomplish.
Are they gone? Like I make it through the hole and there's no sign of them?
These things are amazingly fast. They're small and they're moving almost as a unit. It's like, you know, when you're playing like an old computer game, how everything's kind of like jumpy and pixelated, but like they move in boxes. That's how these things move. However, they're moving in boxes up the side of a building, so it's like, and it's incredibly fast.
Up the side of the building that we're at right now, or a different building?
Well, they're moving away from the building that you're at, and then they move up the side of. There's like a row of it's kind of. They go across. There's an intersection. Across the intersection, there's not a strip mall, but you know, in an industrial park, how you have like a row of business fronts, and then in the back there's like a bays, kind of a thing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's one of those low buildings. It kind of climbs up the face of that building and skitters across the roof of it.
Okay.
What do you do?
I'm gonna bolt after them, take out my grappling hook and shoot it sort of ahead of where I feel they're going, and try to just reverse propel. Yeah, exactly.
Your momentum from sprinting, and you launch yourself into the grappling hook, and it gets you really close to the top of the building, and you kind of leap up to the top, and you just see them skittering across. Like some of them, they're moving as a unit, but some of them kind of go on the flat. Some of them go up the side of an AC unit that's on the top of the building, and then they're moving down the other side. You continue to follow them for a while, another while, until. Oh, I've got my alarm going here. Sorry, I just missed that. You continue to follow them. You get to the back end. There's a chain link fence, and the other side of the yard is just full of rusted. Like heavy equipment parts. So you see like big loader shovels, you see forklift forks, and you see a few small pieces of heavy equipment. And they're like going freely through all of this stuff. For you to make it through there, it's going to be a serious obstacle to keep up with them. What do you do?
Just to make it past like all the car parts? Right.
Yeah, and like we're kind of like, think of this as like a montage. We're kind of like, you're pursuing these robotic creatures. This is like an example of some of the things you have to do. So we're going to see how this plays out and how well you can pull them. However, you still have 2 flow that you can use.
Yeah, sweet.
So you spend your flow instead of rolling a move. You guaranteed bypass this, and you just say how.
Yeah, let's do it. Just gonna use some flow.
Yeah, for sure. So you spend a point of flow, and how do you get past all of these like big posts and spikes, and there's a few like classic like industrial park, like you got like a pile of pipe that's like really wide, long, wide diameter pipe, and it's just like all strapped together. What do you do?
So as I make my way into this, I'm just sort of like scanning for what the best route through is going to be. And I like, there's some of those like concrete, almost like manhole kind of things, right? So I'm just kind of like scooping through those, and then I swing out the other side, and I'm like just hopping off of these, almost like, you know, those big construction concrete barricades things. Just like sort of jumping, almost like stepping stones over through each of these. There's a bunch of there's a layer of sort of chain link stuff, and I just like jump and bounce off of that like a trampoline over this like nasty pile of rebar that could otherwise be.
You were like taking in information as you're flying through the air. You're like, okay, my landing spot is chain link. That's going to give me a little bit of a
little bit of momentum. Trampoline, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And so that's you maintaining your speed and momentum when you otherwise wouldn't, because you would have had to slow down to kind of pick your way through this if you were just climbing through. But you can use your training to kind of keep up with them.
And I say, this is a little more like it.
This is what I was made for.
Yes.
Good. You find yourself almost directly behind these robots now. And so you managed to keep through. Is there anything else you wanted to do in terms of, or are you just straight up following these things and concentrating on that?
Straight up following these things. I've kind of got Martin in on it. I have him on my eyes and ears essentially. So my goggles sort of are a direct video feed
to camera that's embedded in your mask or your costume.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to send him a little bit of data as best as I can to try and figure out what these things are, what they can do, and so on.
Okay. So you're trying to assess the situation?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, why don't you roll
that? Okay. Dang it. This is the plus superior.
Yeah. It depends on what you're trying to do, but I think you're assessing the situation. So let's go.
I got a 7.
7 is good. 7 is not a failure.
Yay.
Right now you have no teams in the pool, so that's good.
And we kind of split up.
You get to ask one question. Do you have the questions in front of you?
In a sec. Assess the situation.
5 questions.
Right. What here's the biggest threat? And I'm not thinking like immediate threat. I'm thinking about what about this is going to be trouble. Is this going to mean? Can I learn anything about what trouble is coming down the line, kind of thing?
Yeah. So
because I'm not particularly afraid of these robots.
They don't operate by themselves. They usually respond to a signal or to programmed instructions. The response time on these ones suggests that they have been given instructions and they're not being directly controlled. They're just responding to those instructions. So something is giving them these instructions, and whoever is controlling these drones is somehow connected to a giant explosion that destroyed any evidence that was left from that warehouse. So I think that's enough information. And like this, I would give you this information. This is stuff that Vixen is figuring out. So it's like, this is her internal monologue that just kind of went through.
Cool. So I guess part of it is I'm like trying to get some of this data for later on as well. Like I'm sort of taking this in as we go and like, okay, let's catalog this and see if we can find anything further, later on, kind of thing.
Okay. As your anyway, carry on. What do you do next? These things are skittering on through the industrial park. They are traveling through an alley at the moment, so there's not much that you do. Do you do anything in particular? Yeah, and Martin, you're kind of feeding this information to Martin. He's kind of doing a quick read up of these drones, of what their capabilities might be, of that kind of stuff. But it's you that figures out what's probably going on here as far as losing control.
Hang on a sec. Sorry, I got to jump away again.
Okay, let's go back to monstrosity.
Yeah.
You just scared a little bit of information out of this security guard. What do you do? She's cowering and whimpering on the ground. You hear that as one of the walls that's remaining kind of caves outward. It loses the remainder of its supports. You hear the crackling of fire as things inside the warehouse are burning. And off in the distance, using your superior hearing, you can hear the skittering and a gentle thud and a squeak as your teammate is pursuing these robots.
Okay. Apart from the woman I just saved, can I hear or sense anyone else in immediate danger?
No, it is late at night at this point. Well, not late at night, but it's probably like 11 midnight maybe. It's quiet on the streets. There's nobody in danger unless there was somebody in the building, but you hadn't detected anyone in there before.
I wish I hadn't smashed that walkie-talkie. Looking around the remains of the security booth, is there anything that survived the blast?
And so you're like having a quick glance inside there. There's not much. I mean, it was the security booth is what absorbed the bulk of the explosion, so that you and certainly the security guard survived and didn't take any harm. And it is just trashed. It's like the backside of it is completely blown in. There's not flame, but there's shrapnel. Like there's big chunks of metal that have kind of like embedded themselves into this thing, and it's completely crushed. It fell over onto its side, and you kind of emerged from underneath it. Not like it wasn't on top of you, but like there's pieces of it that had landed on top of you. So there's really not much left. What are you trying to accomplish? Are you looking for clues? Are you looking for more information?
Yeah, I guess, I'm looking for some kind of...
Make some good out of a bad situation.
Be closer to this anarch.
Okay, so you're just looking for more information. You're trying to see if there's anything that gives more information. I just want to mention this because this is super cool. As the game master, I'm like, I have no real plan in this situation. All of the things that are happening right now are as a result of your roles. So I had no idea that you were going to go to the warehouse first.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was that a bomb was being planted by a whole bunch of robotic drones. I had no idea. And right now, I have no idea if there's in fact anything there about the anarch, any further clues. I suggested to Vixen that the building had been obliterated, but that could just be her character's perspective. And you, with your freaky mutant abilities, you might be able to find something that Vixen wouldn't have been able to. So why don't you roll to assess the situation? Roll plus superior.
Okay.
Could either be really good or really bad.
Oh, well, check this out.
You're freaking joking.
Yeah, and I got a 0 on superior, so I guess that does not do me a lot of good.
Okay, give me a second here. I want to see my villain moves.
Did you get to play?
I'm still working on it. just been in and out.
What could Vixen say that would bring you to her side?
What could Vixen say?
Yeah, what would have to happen to bring you to Vixen's side?
I guess if I heard that she was in trouble, that she needed help, that if she had a new lead, if she had.
Okay.
You gotta drag me into
Vixen,
this.
which one of those things do you pick? Like you can choose as a character. Do you find something new information? Do you get in trouble? You get to decide.
If we were rolling better this evening, I'd say I get in trouble. But because we've been rolling like garbage, I'm gonna say I find something out that I need Monstrosity to know about.
Okay. Let's say that these creatures they arrive at a certain location where there's a manhole in. It's not like in the middle of the street, but it's like off to it's actually in a yard somewhere, and it's like it's one of those. It's like a refueling station yard, and there's like a manhole there. So a bunch of them arrive. The manhole flips over, clank, 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 and they all go. And one of them kind of like, and it starts pulling the cover closed. What is it that you say, Vixen, that brings the monstrosity with you? And you can collaborate. It doesn't matter. Imagine you're writing this story. What is it that is in the speech bubble?
So what's the surrounding area? Are we on some kind of like riverfront or something like that?
A fuel. Think of one of those really big, like a card lock where you refuel a bunch of big trucks, kind of a thing. Now, there would be underground access to like a big fuel tank underneath, but this is a manhole that's off the sides, obviously like a storm drain kind of a thing. And they're descending. These robots are descending down there.
What if it's like a certain part of town that Monstrosity knows is bad news? Like there's a gang that works around there or something like that. And I'm just
Sure.
like,
So maybe what happens is you get down there, you get it. You manage to lift up the manhole. You kind of peek your head down, and you see that it kind of goes east and west. And your brother, you note, like you get it. You hear the skittering off as it goes to the east, and your brother notes they're headed toward crime. They're headed toward Crime Alley.
I know a guy. So I'm gonna, I'll send Monstrosity a note. I followed the robots into the sewer at such and such location, approximately, right? Like a block, like 42nd and Wallaby. I don't know. And Martin said that these bots are headed through the Eastern Pipeline towards Crime Alley.
Okay.
This might be something that you want to get at.
What I think we see in the panels is we see Monstrosity just watch the watch that you gave him. It's just all the text, like Martin just said that they're headed on the east, and then the last panel that we see in this little segment is they're headed toward Crime Alley.
And it zooms in on the watch for that part.
Close to the watch there.
They're headed towards Crime Alley.
We're gonna take, when we bring the scene back up together. Yeah, when we bring the scene back, you two are together and you are in Crime Alley. You followed these robots to Crime Alley. again, this is a GM move that I've made, so I've kind of moved your character, Jeff. Normally not in my control, but because of your terrible roll, this is what happened. And I think I'm being generous. So where are you, and how does the first panel of this next segment appear?
Talking to him or talking to me?
Both of you. You're together now.
I think. So. Can you meet me in the sewer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and well,
I'm like,
sewer. You're already in the crime alley neighborhood, so you follow these robots, kind of like we're just cutting cutting straight.
I've gone for a couple of miles through the sewer, following these robots now, and.
Now,
yeah.
I'll be honest, how about this? The sewer is dark and echoey. I think if we spend your flow is basically run out, but if we spend your last flow on like not being detected, then you can make it through without having to fight these things. Unless you want to fight them, that's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of them.
So you kind of land soundlessly, and you're falling just far enough behind the robots, and let's just hand wave that. What is the first panel once you arrive in Crime Alley and you're tailed the robots?
I can tell we're here. The smell changed.
Is that you thinking, or is that Monstrosity thinking?
To me, that's me. Here being Crime Alley, I can tell we've made it into Crime Alley. The smell is different.
Good. And where are you observing the smell from? Where have you ended up?
So I kind of, you know how the sewer kind of continues straight for a while, and then occasionally there's like a little drop off kind of thing, and you can like go further down into the sewer. I just like the drones have gone down into that deeper part, and I just like make it to the edge, and I see, you know, how far down are they going to go. So I'm sort of standing at the edge of, or standing on the ledge of this drop off in the sewer, and that's where I kind of say the smell is different before I just sort of swing down onto the ladder.
Okay. Monstrosity, you're with her at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're going together through the sewers.
Accurate.
Yeah, and these drones have kind of clattered their way through, and they kind of you find at one point they finally go up. There's an exit, like another storm drain passage, or another manhole passage where you see some a ladder built into the side of the wall, and they go up, and you hear the clanking of the manhole up on top. And it scrapes.
Be careful.
Clang,
this
clang.
is the first time they've gone up in over 10 miles.
Okay. What can I would like to listen.
Okay, so you're going to try and extend your senses to get a sense of what's going to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like what kind of space these robots have
So
entered in?
you glide through the filthy water in the storm drain, and you get to the bottom where the rungs are. You place your hands up there and kind of do this like lizard thing where you extend your neck up and roll to extend your senses.
All right. We got a 6 and a 3 with a +3 for freak, so 12.
Okay. You can hear the sound change as they clatter across the asphalt. There's a distinct sound difference between the asphalt and the sidewalk. The sidewalk seems really long to you, but it's like, and then there's like a clattering of you hear hinges creak, and you hear a tapping of glass, and a slam of door. and then the sound is you very faintly you can hear these things, but it's even beyond it your extraordinary senses. It's beyond way.
If that's the case, I keep following.
Okay. So you get up to the top, and there's a manhole cover that's been replaced. You kind of like, and the panel here is, I just love it. It's just like your big yellow eyes looking up underneath the manhole cover. You are in Crime Alley. Do you want to declare something that you know, or is this just like, is this a place that Crime Alley is your wheelhouse, right? It's your neighborhood. Is this a place that you know, or is it something that's like on the fringes that you're not familiar with?
I think this is a block full of condemned buildings that people squat in.
Definitely.
And a couple of them have been a couple of them are boarded up really tight. A couple of them have been turned into crack houses. Yeah, there aren't really no legitimate businesses or habitation on this block.
Okay. Yeah, so this is like the dead zone. It's like it's not even red light district. This is like where people go to crash after they're already high or that kind of thing. And so it's just like basically the worst part of town, right? And so you look up and you see there's like somebody who's strung out is lying on the sidewalk in the shelter of a doorway and the door is boarded up, and they're just lying in this doorway. It gives them the mediocre shelter from the elements. The night is cool and it's calm. You look around, there doesn't seem to be any traffic on the streets. So what do you do? What is the notepad?
I'm actually wondering about the possibility of declaring an obligation that I know this homeless guy.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to do that. It says once permission, so this would be your one thing.
Okay.
Once permission is in once per gathering kind of thing. Can we do it?
I got to tell you, you declared that you know him. You can use your moves to like scare him or persuade him to get information. Or you could go hit the street. So, what do you do?
I'm thinking
what is his name, first of all?
LJ.
Okay, and I mean, is he? Who is he? Describe him to us.
He's a fellow who has struggled with the addiction for most of his life. Made some bad choices early on. Lives around Crime Alley. Doesn't really have a home, but he's not a bad guy. He's not like a criminal, and any as far as he can help anyway.
Yeah, unless the substances he's using are illegal. He's like default a criminal, but he's not a criminal in the sense like I'm going to harm people. He's like a criminal because he's just breaking the law.
He's not malevolent.
Yeah.
He has, however, gotten himself into some dangerous situations in Crime Alley. So I think I've saved his butt a couple of times.
So he owes you a favor then?
I think so.
He's one of the few people in this city, and granted, a lot of the people who do know you for who you are in Crime Alley because you have protected them. And he's one of the few people who know who you are, that you're not a monster, that you're trying to help people.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it. So what do you do?
I get out of the sewer and I approach LJ and I ask him what kind of night he's having.
Okay. He's passed out, so you have to kind of wake him up to
I do that. I give him a little nudge in the shoulder.
Groans, and he's like rubbing his eyes, and he's clear. What is like he's out of this, right? He sees your big eyes, and he kind of does one of these. What do you want?
Hey, man, I'm not trying to freak you out or anything. Just
he does one of these, like, Dante. Is that you? Hey. And he's the guy. It's like big smile on his face. He's like, yeah. And it's just like he's just nodding and like smiling at you. That's what he's got.
How you doing tonight, man? You see anything interesting?
I've seen like the wind is coming and going. It's blowing change around, man. And there's the heart of this world is just technology, and it's an evil heart. There's the monsters, and they take over who you are.
Yeah. Well, we should probably stop that, right? Where would we find these evil robot monsters?
Don't. He swears at you. He's like, don't F around. They'll kill you, man. You can't die. You're a good man.
Can I scope this building out?
Yeah, I mean, you're right behind him. So yeah, you can totally do that. Let's finish this scene, but yeah, we'll go right to
Yeah, cool.
All right. I'm talking to you for serious, LJ. You see anything weird tonight? Anything weird coming down the street?
So you are. Did we have you roll something at this point?
I haven't rolled for anything interacting with LJ yet.
So what are you trying to do? You're trying to get some information from him?
Ideally, I would like I kind of heard. I got a couple of auditory clues about where these.
Yeah.
But I want to see if LJ saw anything. I know he's kind of
Okay.
an unreliable eyewitness, but.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like you're trying to assess the information, assess the situation using LJ, your connection with LJ here.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's hitting the street.
And I'll be honest, like in the fiction, LJ is an addict. He's strung out. So his information is going to be not going to be direct, but he will give you something. Okay, so you can roll to assess the situation.
Okay, cool.
I think it's a roll to hit the street, isn't it?
Actually, yeah. To be fair,
When you go to a contact for help.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate. Thank you, Joel. That's definitely what we want to do. Let me just double check what it is. You've got to roll mundane. So you gotta find a human connection with this guy in order to understand what he has to say.
Yeah, I think I've got negative mundane, so this will be interesting.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. Got to do the best you can with what you got. Here we go. Where did my other character sheet go?
Big money, big money, big money, big money, big money.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Okay. Double twos with a minus one on mundane. Yeah, this is a bust.
This is the actual face Vixen is making behind him right now.
So yeah, I think what he says is, it's a nest, man. They're everywhere. Everywhere. You can't get away. They get to you and they get inside you, man. And then you're lost, like me. And he kind of stumps back. Yeah. And he's starting to lose consciousness here. I think I should at least hint something here. And there's something strange about LJ. What is it that you notice about him? It's something that no human could ever notice, but you do because of your remarkable abilities.
I can probably smell on his breath or in his system what he's been on, what he's been taking.
You also there's also an unusual smell. Like there's an LJ smell. There's just the way he is because he's been on this substance for so long. You've also met him when he's in withdrawal. He's not in withdrawal. He's been able to get a fix, but there's definitely the sense of like cortisol that's going through him. Like he's really stressed, and it's sincere. And there's also this weird. It smells like rust to you. It's a metallic, rusty smell that's connected to LJ. And you hear this, like, as he slumps back, you hear just the slightest little as he kind of like slumps forward and he passes out. Something is off.
Okay.